Let's begin. We still have this to do. Before we can start episode 7, we still need to do the question marks episode, whatever was in store there. Lambda, where are you? The text bigger than usual? Let me raise the microphone a bit again so I don't have to hunch over like that. Just having to say that felt like admitting defeat, and I didn't like it. Why is it that she's always so obnoxious and clingy when I don't need her, and then won't answer when I call her name? Where am I? Annoyed by the completely predictable ending, I had left the cathedral. I had planned on finding some terrace with a cool night's breeze to kill time on until the end of that farcical reception. I wonder who was talking. It's true that I tried to find somewhere desolate so that I wouldn't have to look at people, but this is a bit ridiculous. I, the great Bernkastel, it's Bernkastel, am lost. I wouldn't exactly call you great. I think insane and unhinged are better words. A miracle like that certainly wouldn't happen. Yes, miracles don't exist in this world. To create a miracle, you need an amount of time that can never be reached, a period that's no different from infinity. So when something that appears to be a miracle happens in a shorter span of time than that, it is not a miracle, but the product of someone's design. In other words, the reason I'm walking down this corridor is because someone's design has forced me here. Who would have pulled such a complicated prank on me? It looks like you're quite the shy one, calling me out to a desolate place like this. Then, from the other end of the dark corridor, I heard a sound. Oh. This is actually creepy. It sounded as though some small animal, like a dog or a cat, was walking at a quick pace. No miracle could cause a dog or cat to be in a place like this. Such a miracle would not be allowed. Since it isn't a miracle, that means I'm being guided in that direction. Very well. This might be some new theme to keep me entertained. If this is some new joke of Lambda's, I'll cover her whole body with honey using my tongue as a reward. I have many thoughts concerning this sentence, and I should probably not mention any of them. And then I'll stick parasol chocolates into her eyes and tell her to never do it again. She should write about that noise. Would be about 6,000 pages. In the direction the noise had come from, it was not only dim, but shrouded in complete darkness. However, I could sense something in that darkness. Holy shit. There were two emerald green glints, probably cat eyes. The eyes of a black cat that peered through the darkness. Are you the one who called me here? Or are you just the messenger? Oh. When I looked at my feet, I saw red cat footprints leading towards those cat eyes. The marks were unsettling, as though the cat had run through a pool of blood. When my eyes adjusted to the darkness, then even with the lack of light, I was vaguely able to make out these red footprints. They weren't actually glowing or anything, but they served perfectly well as a signpost leading me onwards. As though it was telling me to follow, the cat turned around and dashed off into the darkness. What is it? Something feels very strange. It's a feeling I haven't felt since I began calling myself the cruelest witch in the world. It's not something you should be proud of. I can't quite remember what this feeling is. Fear? Still, for one as tired of boredom as me, it's surely more fun this way. I followed the bloody footprints of the cat, which would sometimes stop and look back at me, and walked on and on through the dark corridor, forward, turn, head down what appeared to be stairs from time to time, and then, though I couldn't really tell because of the darkness, it went in through the crack of a door. Here? I pushed the door open slowly, but it was dark on the inside, just like the corridor. However, the air and the slight change in the echoes made by the footsteps told me that this was a room, not a corridor. The sounds of the cat's footsteps were gone. However, the bloody footprints remained. On the other side of some sort of wooden screen, under what looked like a small spotlight. Are we going to see something horrible now? There was that same black cat gobbling down some blood-stained pet food. I see. So this is its reward for bringing me here. Cat, sorry to bother you during your meal, but I'd like you to summon your master. That is, unless you're actually the one who summoned me. Talking to it didn't cause it to turn around. Well, I guess it is an animal eating its food. If I kick it away, it'll probably run off to its owner. Oh, you sure you want to do that? Huh. When I did kick the cat, it sailed away like a stuffed animal, hit the wall and fell to the ground. Then it vanished, melting into the darkness. What's with this cat? Is it just an illusion? When I looked at its food plate, it was piled up with what appeared to be blood-drenched raw meat. It was as though someone had torn apart living flesh on the spot and piled it up on there. Come on, what's with the creepy reception? That was a mean thing to do, kicking it. The instant I heard that voice, the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Then the surrounding area finally brightened. However, Bernkastel had already guessed what this was before it grew bright. I haven't. What? That was you, was it not? That cat? A cat who has learned how to eat meat, and that it can sometimes choose its own path. It has been a long time. It's a path I might never have had to know about if you hadn't told me. You're the monster who taught me the taste of flesh. So you've come back to life, Featherine Aurora. Aurora? Wasn't it just Aurora? Augustus Aurora. You never learn. Oh, I guess she was just messing up the name. No matter how often I tell you that. Very well. Even that brings back fond memories. I have heard the rumors. It seems you have taken the name Bernkastel, Witch of Miracles, and have been playing a far from praiseworthy fragment game. I'm just imitating you, though I could hardly match up to your level. If the rumors you've heard about me are bad, that applies 100-fold to you. Bernkastel sat unreservedly in an antique chair, as though she was already familiar with the place. What are you afraid of? I am merely celebrating my reunion with my longest-serving Miko so far. Did you really find my messenger cat so displeasing? Bernkastel's manner seemed completely relaxed. However, Featherine admonished her, telling her not to be afraid. And judging by the expression that had risen to Bern's face, Featherine had been right on the mark. Did you really have to make such blunt insinuations against me? A cat leaving behind bloody footprints and stuffing its face with bloodstained meat? Have no fear. Look closely. Do you see any cat stuffing its face with meat? I just gave it a plate of biscuits as a reward for going to get you. It was as though soot covering the plate at her feet was blown away even though there was no wind. There lay an adorable and perfectly normal cat dish. Of course, pumpkins. Perfectly normal cat dish, as we all know. With a pile of small biscuits on top of it. Bernkastel didn't even hide her displeased grimace. Featherine shrugged and muttered, "You haven't changed, child of man," as she rocked her rocking chair. I see you're as unpleasant as ever, but I'm happy now. Imitating you really has been far from boring. Scold me as you please. It is the parting gift I gave you when we last met. You like rude Mikos because they kept you entertained, right? Tch, ridiculous. If talking will only please you, I'll shut up. So, what do you want with me? It seems Beatrice's game has ended with Battler's victory. I observed it. It was quite entertaining. I'm sure you liked seeing me fail miserably. Well, I certainly did. Nonsense, nonsense. It was a splendid performance. I'm sure Beatrice is very grateful to you. Huh. And if you want me to read the fragments of Beatrice's game aloud for you, I refuse. I'm not your Miko anymore. I have observed all of Beato's games. I also watched Lambda Delta's game and Battler's game with great interest. I believe I have formed an answer for all the riddles in my own way. The culprit, the motive, the individual tricks. I'm not yet clear about the very last part of the epitaph's riddle, but I have enough of a theory that if I actually went to Rock Kanjima and investigated, I should be able to resolve that part as well. Well, great, congratulations to you, I still haven't even figured out the fucking first part. And, of course, since there's no single truth, my theory is probably only one of many possibilities. However, that is only a question of possibilities, a trivial problem. What are you up to? Do you want to debate Beato's game with me? Wrong. What I want is to look at the answers, child of man. Yeah, I want that too. Those words of Featherine's made Bandcastle straighten up. Her old master did not fail to notice that small reaction. So far, you have spiced up this tale as an actor. In doing that, you have probably come to know many truths. However, even you are unaware of the truth behind several riddles that Beato has cleverly kept hidden, correct? I see. You want to use me to chew apart and string out the guts of something again. After watching a play, reading the pamphlet and learning what goes on behind the scenes is similar to, as you would say it, enjoying some black tea after a meal. That enjoyment cannot be left undone. You like to play with them and love them while they're alive, then eat their flesh when they die. So cats are doubly useful to you. Just die, monster. I want to look at the answers. I'm sure you want to know them. Think of it as a burial for Beato's corpse where you are in charge of the service. What do you say to that, child of man? Now you're starting to speak my language. When Featherine snapped her fingers, a thin spotlight appeared on the table which was covered with cluttered books. There lay a folded version of the game board for Beato's game. The witch of theater going spun her finger in a circle and the game board opened up by itself, showing the black and white pieces lined up inside it. The game board and all the pieces are gathered here. The records for the previous games are all present as well. With a rustling sound, the book flipped through all its pages of its own accord, front to back, shut itself, and flew to the side of the game board where it waited. Inside it, all of the movements of the pieces during previous games were recorded. I see. So you were short a player and a commentator. We're also short on black tea. Similarly with dried plums. Of course I will find some. Okay, if you add on some mustard rice cakes, then we have a deal. Mustard rice cakes? Not sure well, why not? The negotiations are concluded. I have one condition. Oh, and what is that? I'm going to be the reader, okay? I have no love, so a few things might be interpreted in an odd way. However, the reader is free to read things in a manner and with an intonation of her choosing. I only want to check the answers. I don't particularly care about the tale itself. I'm not deeply interested in what sort of tale you'll create. Yes. Now I see what you're after. Will you accept that condition? Very well. I want to know the answer. You have your grudge to worry about. The negotiations are concluded. I'm not sure how I have to understand this, but okay. When Featherine snapped her fingers once more, a large chair appeared as though beckoning Bandcastle to sit there. It was a throne horribly mismatched with the furnishings of this room. Oh. Wait, I've seen this before. This is... I acknowledge it. You may sit. You are the game master. Huh? What? Who said that? Are you sure? Are you really sure? You can create whatever sort of tale you like to satisfy your grudge. I am not interested. However, I have one condition as well. Answer all of the questions I ask. Absolutely no keeping secrets, hiding or dodging the issues. Leave it to me. Tearing up guts and dragging out is my specialty. After all, you trained me. Let us make some black tea. We'll use our own hands, not magic. Let the master treat our Miko to some tea. The old Beata told me that witches are the best ones to have black tea with. It seems that rule doesn't apply to us. At some point, that dish piled with biscuits had once again been covered with a mountain of torn apart meat and a splatter of red. No, not just meat, even the bowels. Black tea is best enjoyed with your fellow monsters. Alright, I guess that was a nice intro for episode 7 then. Okay. That means we're just gonna jump right into episode 7 now. Into episode 7. Yeah. It's a cool version of the song. Kinda sounds slightly unhinged, which, well, fits the absolutely unhinged Bernkastel. I have tips to read too. Oh, okay, fine. Keep forgetting about these, because always when I finish one episode, I totally want to jump right into the next one. So I'm always almost annoyed to have to read tips, but I shouldn't be, because there will be something in there I should know. But, like, maybe you know what I mean. It's kind of like having to read the instruction manual before starting a game that you won't be able to play without reading it, but you just want to start the game, man, but you have to read it. Oh, in that case, let's get the pieces ready. If we keep up the count, this will be game 7, right? So we are going to have a new game that, however, is supposed to answer all the previous games? Or how am I even supposed to understand this? A fortuitous number, but not for Beata, right? Bernkastel slowly picked up a black piece. It was the piece that represented Beatrice. It was sometimes a king, sometimes a queen, and could become a knight. However, that was only if it got promoted. Until then, it was only a trash piece, like a pawn. First comes the placing of the pieces. By this point, the witch's game has already begun. Bernkastel took Beatrice's piece and raised it high. And ate it. First move, placement, Beatrice on D8. Huh? The fuck? D8? Is that the queen? Eight? Is 8 should be where the black side plays, right? And I would need to see a chessboard right now to be able to tell it. So I don't think there's anything I need to know, right? I need to see here, I guess. But what is this? Spirit mirror. Kept in the shrine built on a rock in the water near Rokkenjima to suppress the evil spirits of Akojikishima. It is believed to possess a great power which holds those evil spirits at bay. Why am I reading like this? This mirror is revered by the fishermen around the Nijima area, and several times each year a small ceremony is conducted jointly by the Ushinomiya family and the Nijima Fishery Cooperative. Well, not anymore, I would say. In the past, Kenzo ordered that it be cleaned when the seasons changed. However, it is unknown whether or not he did this out of respect for the occult of the Eastern world. Dual pistol set. A set of demon dual pistols prepared by Zepa and Furu. The number of shots loaded depends on the format of the duel. In most cases, it holds just a single round. The emotions of the duelers are loaded into them, and if one of the bullets grazes any part of the body, the concept of the target will be denied without exception. In the past, duels were performed in the classic style with swords, but this took a great deal of time before an outcome was reached, which just pleased certain impatient theater-going witches. For this reason, a dual weapon that would always kill with a single shot was asked for and created. Of course, this weapon is not particularly popular among theater-going witches who are fans of good old drawn-out dramatic duels. D8 is a king? I mean, I don't remember which color A8 would be. Can I kill Erica here? I will always kill Erica if I have the chance. Oh, yeah. Huh? It turns her red, but fell from a pleasure boat and is currently missing due to the Rokkanjima explosion incident that occurred shortly after. I'm sorry, what? Explosion? I mean, it was already mentioned in episode 4, I think, that there was some Rokkanjima incident that killed everybody and only Eva survived because she was in the other mansion or something. I might have it wrong a bit, but it kind of sounded like something along those lines. So I was always wondering if something happened at the end, like an explosion or something. So it's interesting to actually see this. Due to a Rokkanjima explosion incident that occurred shortly after, her accident went completely forgotten. Her family says that she might have drifted to Rokkanjima and gotten involved in the accident, but no evidence suggesting that she was ever on the island could be found, and her parents probably didn't give a fuck because she was a horrible person. Forgers who know of this accident often theorize that she drifted onto Rokkanjima and include her in the illusion of the witch. Well, that is certainly interesting then. The aged head of the Umineko is already dead, but thanks to Klaus and Natsu's close room, illusion is being made to look as though he is alive. Therefore, there's no longer any need to include him in the number of people on the island. Without him, the number of people goes from 18 to 17. However, after welcoming in the guest known as Erica, the number returns to 18. Well, but then the ending happened, and it said it was even less. Can't execute him. Yeah, that's what I realized as well. The game was not finished, so I'm actually trying to kill everybody now. But so far, it only lets me kill those that were indeed killed. Which is interesting then. Why can I not kill these people if she is marked as killed? If there was an explosion. And the explosion... I can't execute him either. Also not these. Okay. Don't think there's anything... Oh, there's this one again. All of the goats. There's nothing new. Those guys. Balor, the Endless Sorcerer and the final Game Master. He's the ruler of the game board and the territorial lord. To prove that he has won Beato's game, he must act the part of the Game Master. By succeeding in this, his victory will be acknowledged and Beato's game will reach its end. Because he knows all the truth, the plane on which he exists is higher than those of all others. Okay, yeah, I mean, we had this... I don't think I read this before, but yeah. I can just make it disappear. Can I do anything to these? These are new, but I've read their texts already. The Elder Sister. I think I read this as well. Okay, I guess that's it. Oh no, wait. There's still... those. Message Bottle Forger. She's a mysterious novel writer and a person surrounded by even more mysteries than those found in her novels. She claims to have found the truth about Rokkanjima and posts new tales she has written on the web, as though giving out extra hints. However, I have no memory of meeting with her before my trip to Nijima. Not sure if I read this before. Finally, the center of the ninja, I joined to the genre, not of an impossible memory, she waits several roses. Yeah, I read this, definitely. And this is still the same as well. In that case, I think that's all. This only has these two. Oh, interesting. I can just go to episode 5 down here. Yeah, looks like it's everything. Well then. Requiem of the Golden Witch. Good morning. Oh shit. I should have read that. Sorry, No! Yeah, but, you know, it's because the text is already there when you just hover over it. Hold on. I do want to know what that says. Even though it's probably not so important. Or maybe it is. Just a matter of a few seconds anyway. Requiem of the Golden Witch. Good morning. Scheduled for today is the funeral of the Golden Witch and her game. The days of the game are already over, and nothing remains but fond memories. Well, fond memories might not be the best word. Here the cold, hard truth will be revealed. Holy shit, and death will come to the game. There is a bit of difficulty to this one. And then episode 8. What is going to be episode 8 then? I could imagine that this will give us some answers, but not actually all. And then episode 8 will be the true here are all answers thing. I wonder. Or maybe this is going to be half of the answers and half of the other answers will be in episode 8. Because it's just so much that we can't fit it into one. Earth to earth. Ashes to ashes. Dust to dust. Why did you put the first one into one sentence and the other two into one sentence with a comma in between? Illusions to illusions. And dreams to dreams. A dream is something drawn in the sand between the coming and receding waves. Something so fragile that it's wiped blank every time a wave comes in. So the heartless might sneer, saying that drawing such things is useless and meaningless. However, no wave will ever come again to wipe away the dream she drew. And now that final beautiful dream of hers will not disappear for all eternity. Come, try and picture it. It's as though the rays of the gentle afternoon sun on a warm spring day simply forgot to grow dim ever again. It truly is such a wonderful thing. Witness to your final dream. Publius Vigilia Mauro. Okay. The suspects were gathered in a room, and several inquisitors of heresy were reporting on the results of their investigation. Their uniforms closely resembled those of Eiserne Jungfrau, but they were slightly different. Also different were the badges signifying their department. Okay. Already getting right into it, or what? Then came the sound of someone clapping their hands once. It was the lead female inquisitor. She was announcing that all reasoning had been completed. As has been shown, it is all quite clear. Know that the preceding logic has proven the non-existence of your alibi. At the other end of her pointing finger was a quivering maid with frightened eyes. Her name was... No, that's not important. What matters now is that she could have entered the closed room study where the victim was found whenever she pleased, and furthermore that her claimed alibi for the time of the crime has been proven to contradict the facts. Shaking, the maid tried to continue in her illogical pleading, but all of her statements had already been seen through. With this, we conclude our proof of the whodunit and the howdunit. Know that your position as the culprit is now an unshakable fact. You must be joking. Why would I kill the master I loved and respected so? I have no motive, no reason. Who did it and how? Know that establishing this is more than sufficient. Please allow me to speak. Know that motives are unnecessary and mysteries. The Inquisitor spoke coldly. Please don't let it be Erica again. After finishing her witch's prayer, Vigilia stepped back from the coffin, which lay on an altar bedecked with many beautiful roses. In her place, Battler moved to the front of the coffin, wearing his territorial lord's cape. Though the cape was supposed to represent dignity and majesty, it somehow made Battler look smaller. Battler held a book with a majestic binding in his hand. It was a game record that had just been written, or perhaps it was a tale, a game, or else a fragment. Written in it was the dream that would be more enjoyable for her than any other. Battler pressed it against his forehead and contemplated for some time. I guess the pronunciation there should have been written in it was the dream that would be more enjoyable for her than any other. Then he kissed it and laid it gently in the coffin. It rested upon her chest. She looked like a little girl clutching her favorite stuffed animal as she drifted off to sleep. This is the sole tale I have to offer up you. This tale will be shut up with you in your coffin for all eternity, so no one will be able to read it except for you, there in your coffin. Shut away in that cat box, the only unchanging, inviolable, eternal tale. This way, no one will be able to defile it, no one can deny it, and no one can argue against it. This is just between me and her, just the two of us, our one and only certain truth. Those bastards. A man dashed through a town wrapped in twilight. The daytime hustle and bustle of this beautiful village, which combined the traditional with the orderly, in the classic style of the last century, now seemed like a mere dream. The orange setting sun was already hidden behind the clock tower, and the narrow alleyway was rapidly descending into darkness. As the gas lights began to turn on, they only made the darkness of the twilight stand out all the more. The man sprinted. There was no time. He had to hurry. He had had several experiments to do and things he had to check, and had all taken longer than he had expected. Yes, there's no mistake there. The whodunit and howdunit are more than enough in the mystery genre. In the mystery genre, the motive, or the whydunit, is given the lowest priority. To have a murder, you need to have a culprit and he needs to commit a crime. Motive isn't required for that, so it's usually the most ignored element. In fact, these days, there are even some who call it unnecessary. If you find the culprit with nothing but the whydunit, that's no mystery, that's propaganda. However, just because of that fact, it doesn't mean you can neglect the motive, the heart. We both know how much fun she'll be having in her final sleep, so I doubt anyone could disturb it. After all, who could possibly disturb a sleeping child smiling at a happy dream? Come, it is time for us to leave. If we're too noisy, we'll wake her from her dream. You're right. What else should you do with a sleeping kid except put a blanket on them, turn off the lights, and walk away quietly? After looking at the coffin one last time, Virgilia turned around quietly. Bella did the same, but then he stopped and turned to face the rose-covered altar. Bella offered up his final words within his heart. As long as those words didn't leave his mouth, no one would be able to know what they were. However, those words of the heart caused Bella's expression to change several times. At first he frowned sadly, then his face clouded with remorse, and then changed to a bitter, exasperated smile. It flashed through several varied expressions. Then the final expression that crossed his face was surprisingly a gentle smile. Something rose to Bella's lips. However, he bit it back down. There could certainly be no words to describe the many feelings he kept in his chest. So saying anything aloud would probably be crude. Bella understood this and stopped himself from speaking once more with a wry smile. Thank you. Oh, I have done nothing to deserve your gratitude. I'll leave the rest to you. After seeing Virgilia nod back at him, Bella turned away from the altar one more time and left the chapel. Virgilia also disappeared, and with that, all disturbances that might have interrupted her blissful sleep had vanished. The Inquisitor of Heresy listened with calm, no, scornful gazes. They listened to the frantic babbling of the maid accused of murdering her master. However, nothing she said could bury the fault in her own alibi. They were all mere emotional arguments. I loved and respected the master so much. I had no motive for killing him. No matter how much she spoke, it only made her look more and more like the floundering true culprit struggling pathetically. The requirements for the whodunit and howdunit had been satisfied. As for the whydunit, the motive, the heart, no matter how much she spoke of gratitude for her master who had graciously given her a job when she had been left by the wayside after various misfortunes, it didn't help her case in the slightest in the mystery genre. Therefore, her motive didn't matter. All of that could just be squeezed out of the culprit afterwards. An Inquisitor for Heresy took out a roll of parchment and held it forth, cutting of the maid's sobs and protests. This is how you committed the crime. Know that this indictment has been received by the Great Court, and that your arrest has been approved. Here is the warrant for your arrest. Motive is unnecessary. Know that such a thing is completely extraneous to the matter of pinpointing the culprit. Please allow me to speak. Know that we of the SSVD possess methods of forcing unrepentant criminals to reveal the truth. With these interrogation tools, blessed by the powers of justice, we Inquisitors of Heresy will strap up your limbs, burn you, cross you, stretch you, and hang you, and in so doing, wring the red truth out of you. It isn't even necessary for you to confess. Aides, arrest the maid. It wasn't me, I didn't kill the master, no! The fuck? Hold it right there. You've got the wrong culprit. And who the hell are you? Are you Butler? A man kicked the door open and the Inquisitors were all shocked at the sight of him. Why are you here? Know that this case is no longer your responsibility. Quiet. You find one person without an alibi and just assume that she's the culprit? Do you really think there's no need for a motive, for a heart in crime? Crimes are committed by people. There are no crimes without a heart. I'll never accept a theory that neglects the heart. Know that your obsession over the whodunit is simply embarrassing. The whodunit is unnecessary. Such a thing can be extracted easily through interrogation. Even the Great Court has already acknowledged that this woman is the culprit. True, the Great Court does assume that everyone besides the maid has an alibi, but that's just because they heard you say so, and they have mistaken your overconfidence and conceit for wisdom. If any one of the other suspects loses their alibi, your evidence so far proves nothing. Just look at how pathetic some of these other alibis are. Did the clock at the reception hall chime midnight at exactly the right time? Did the dog by the back door bark at everyone? So you managed to prove the maid's alibi false. Congratulations, but does it end there? It may have been possible for her to do it, but does she have any motive at all? Are the alibis for the others absolutely perfect? This maid wasn't the only one with a false alibi. You have to keep on searching if you want to find the others. Was there some sort of grudge against the victim or some money-related problem? Don't abandon motive. Don't abandon the heart. Dry mysteries with a motive can just be figured out later aren't worth anyone's time. If the maid isn't the culprit, then why did she fake an alibi? Even asking such a question is a waste of time. Know that we just have to interrogate her, bring out the red truth, and have her sign in red blood to everything that happened at the time of the crime. Yeah, you probably can do that. You can just use that torture of yours to squeeze out everything frankly and objectively, as seen from the eyes of God. But you know what? I'll never accept mysteries and theories that lack heart. I have already taken over responsibility for this case. I even have a decree right here. Come now, aides, know that there's no reason to hesitate. I order you to arrest this maid. When she gave this order, her subordinates hesitated, looking back and forth between their superior and that man. I won't let you. Do we have anything showing who the hell this is? I mean, it kind of looks like Butler. But what eye color did I don't think Butler had yellow eyes, did he? I won't let you. The real culprit is a different person. Hold on, I can just check in Steve. Yeah, he has blue eyes. Did Kenzo have yellow eyes? It's possible to use motive to find them, and their alibi trick is an old one. You can't neglect the heart. There's no need for that. We just have to find the suspicious ones who could have committed the crime, interrogate them, and squeeze out the red truth. On the off chance that they aren't the culprit, then we just have to interrogate the next suspect. You call that reasoning? Stand back. We will arrest that woman. Know that this maid is the culprit. It is forbidden for a servant to be the culprit. What did you say? The words of power blasted away the aides trying to arrest the maid. Van Dyne's 20 rules, Rule 11. If you want to torture this maid, make sure you double-check the alibis for the second wife and her lover first. Those two already have a clear alibi for the time of the crime. That? An alibi? Damn it, a fool like you couldn't understand no matter how easy I make it for you, huh? If you want to call yourself the head inquisitor, try and figure out at least that much for yourself. Until then, I'll be taking that maid's arrest warrant. Damn. But then what about you? Can you prove that this maid didn't commit the crime? Know that she was clearly away from the kitchen at the time of the crime. What was she doing then, and where? She can't prove it, I can't prove it, and you can't prove it, no one can. That's why we have no choice but to use these torture devices to interrogate her until the red truth is squeezed out. Head Inquisitor Gumshoe. Yeah, the head inquisitor is more and more sounding as competent as Gumshoe. You can squeeze as much blood and truth from the true culprit as you damn well please. However, I won't let you interrogate or torture anyone who isn't that culprit. This is why everyone says you're too soft. All the suspicious must be interrogated. That is how we Inquisitors of Heresy conduct our witch trials. That's right, we are Inquisitors of Heresy. Felling evil witches is our job. However, we mustn't risk hurting the innocent. We mustn't put them under suspicion. All humans have their own personal truth. Those should only be exposed when they commit crimes. We've been given the right to expose them. But there's one thing we can't do. What? No one, not even God, has the right to expose the innocent truth of those who have not sinned. The maid finally realized that he was trying to protect her. I don't know who you are, but thank you very much. I'm really not the culprit. Yeah, I know. Your boyfriend said he'd be willing to give up everything to prove your alibi. You should thank him. That kid said that honor and reputation are worth nothing compared to you. But if he does that, he'll... It won't come to that. Exposing the secrets between lovers is the job for third-rate magazines. There's not mystery. I'll never allow for Hall's reasoning. Then, for the first time, the man's sullen expression relaxed, and he patted the maid's head roughly. I'm sure you two will be happy together. Still, meeting together in secret while on the job is hardly praiseworthy. Try to keep that to a minimum. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. These words were heard only by the two of them. The man had learned of her innocence, which could only be proven by exposing the secrets of a pair of young lovers, and he had rushed about in search of a solution, resentful of the arrogance of those trying to expose this by forcible means. The point of theory making is not to create a culprit or to trample the truth that lie in the heart of those who have not sinned. If you want to play the detective, don't neglect the heart. Otherwise, we're just intellectual rapists, like a certain someone. I still don't know who the hell this guy is, but I'm already liking him. Don't forget it. When the man spoke, the Inquisitors no longer had any way to argue back. This man's name is Will. Okay. And yet, that's not what everyone used to call him. Head Inquisitor of Heresy of the whole... Can you stop? That is a horribly long title. No, Head Inquisitor of Heresy of the SSVD, the 8th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven. Wizard Hunting Wright. He's called Wright? Like, is this Phoenix? That can't be a coincidence. This is the last thing I have to pass on to you guys. What is his name in... Hold on. Hold on. No! Stop scrolling, you stupid text. I didn't want to click. I hate it. I'm sorry, I have to read that afterwards. I just wanted to scroll back. I just wanted to see what his name is in Japanese. If it's, Phoenix Wright was Naruhodo, right? It's also right? I mean, it could still be a reference. I think... I just want it to be a reference now. But I mean, I think when this came out, the Phoenix Wright games had already become quite popular, I guess. So I would at least not be surprised if the author of Umineko knew the English name of Phoenix Wright. So who knows? He certainly had the bearing of Phoenix Wright rushing in to save somebody at the last moment. That's true, Christian. Such a sparkling intro. Okay, I wonder if it still lets me scroll back up. It should? Okay. I mean, I don't even have to check his name in Japanese anymore since you just told me, but I still clicked away a few lines that it didn't read. This man's name is Will, and yet that's not what everyone used to go. Yeah, okay. Wizard Hunting Wright. This is the last thing I have to pass on to you guys. If you want to be the next Wizard Hunting Wright, remember it, no matter what. Okay, not really that important, but still. I mean, character-wise, it shows his determination and all that, so... Not... Okay, we read it. Don't want to miss any text. Oh, shit!